that Shubman Gill, Washington Sundar and our boy Jaddu, they showed on this day today. Fantastic.
Team did show resilience and courage as well, especially after 0 for 2, at the start. I was driving and thought, oh my god, what's happening? Everyone saying pitch was flatter, pitch is that, but guys, if you take the pitch out of equation, you need mental strength to be from 0 to 2 coming in and captain scoring 100 and then 200s later on. Amazing.
I was surprised with Bumrah kind of going for more than 100. I think that's the first time in his career.
And Stokes, on his importance to England, he's got more wickets than Jasprit Bumrah in this series, and he scored more runs than Jasprit.
If we have to say to Jasprit, just see, mate, Punjabi, come on, yaar. This is your last game in England, Give it your best,
Ik wari ho.
Ik wari ho. Just say ik wari ho. What is your prediction for the 5th test?
I'm not going to make any bold predictions. I'm not going to say like Ajay did last time, there's going to be no runs, and then there's going to be 1,452 runs scored.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to 2 Halves, 2 Innings. This is 2 innings of our 2 Halves, 2 Innings podcast. Obviously, we will be talking about cricket mainly. But before we start, gents, what a victory by English women teams in Euros. Congratulations. Massive congratulations to the women's team. What do you guys think?
Absolutely fantastic achievement. I think heard a stat at the end of the game. I think they'd led for 4 minutes in the knockout rounds. I mean, so they absolutely showed how it doesn't matter as long as you win at the end of the game. That's all that matters. I think Serena Wiegman and the team did an absolutely fantastic job. So credit to the Lionesses for getting over the line and retaining their Euros title.
Yeah, I actually forgot they retained it, didn't they? So
they retained it, yes, exactly. Yeah, so instead of it's coming home, it's staying home. So well done to the England Lionesses again, showing the men's professional team how it's done and how to retain the title. So again, congratulations to the England Lionesses on a fantastic victory and another competition that they've won.
Yeah, after, I've heard they've been 3 finals on the trot, right? The last Euros, the World Cup final against,
lost
against Spain, didn't they?
Yeah.
And now beating Spain, kind of, taking the revenge after the
they
last
got the
World
revenge.
Cup final. Yeah, so brilliant performance. So well done. I know some Arsenal players, scored the final winning penalty. Come on, Arsenal. Come on, the Gunners. So, yeah. So that's brilliant.
Is that the first trophy they've ever won?
No. We won many before. Another thing I wanted to say, unfortunately, our another host, Amit, can't make it today, but he's enjoying wherever he is. He's on holidays. But we're going to miss him. But obviously, as they say, the show should keep on, the
show must go on.
And show must keep on. Yeah. So we're here to talk about back to cricket. We talk about England versus India draw today. What a game. Unbelievable 5 days, guys, between bat and ball. I know batters played very well in the whole innings, whole match. But what a game as a spectator. Ajay, what do you think about this draw?
Honestly, we've seen 20 days now of cricket. All of the previous 3 games have gone to the 5th day. And I know we were saying in the group, oh no, England have posted too much of a high score. And when we lost 2 wickets on day 4, we were 1 run for 2 wickets down. We thought the worst, and we thought, oh no, that's it. This is going to be a loss for India. And obviously going on record on the last podcast, I did predict that England were going to win this game. But you know what? The resilience that KL Rahul, that Shubman Gill, Washington Sundar and our boy Jaddu, they showed on this day today, fantastic, because we are recording after the draw has just happened. So it was just a good feeling, because otherwise this podcast would have been a definite different turn. It would have taken a negative turn had they have lost this, and there might have been a couple of beeps and a couple of edits that would have to have come out of this podcast. But honestly, I think again it was a fantastic display of resilience, and it showed true characteristics and determination of the Indian batsmen to under quite strenuous and stressful circumstances to come out with the result. And fair enough, it's not the result that probably some fans wanted. I think all of us probably wanted an India win, but given the circumstances and given the situation, I think this was probably a fair result. And I think, again, it just goes down to the coin toss again. When will India win a coin toss, guys? Honestly, I'm not a betting man, but 1 out of 16,384 chances. You would have thought, at least, come on, Shubby, you got to kiss that coin before you toss it. But honestly, I think that just kind of goes to show, when it's not going your way, the chips are down, but you manage to pull out a result at the end of it. True grit, true characteristics, and true determination there by the team. So fantastic result there.
Yeah, fantastic result. I think the team did show resilience and courage as well. Especially after 0 for 2. At the start, I was driving and thought, oh my God, what's happening? Dheeraj, what do you make out of that resilience after going down 2 quick wickets in the first over of the third innings?
I think, Shubman Gill came in, Chris Walks on a hat-trick. We were 0 for 2. We went in for lunch, 1 for 2. It was almost a football score. I mean, the remaining 5 sessions, what they showed, for me, it's not a win, but it will go down with the Gabba in 2021 and Eden Gardens in 2001 when we had Lakshman and Dravid. For me, what they did, although it won't go on the score sheet as a win, the resilience they showed, it was very difficult. Literally a lot of people thought we'd lose on day 4. For them to show resilience, not only to bat, through day 4, through the captain and KL Rahul, I think showed their class and their ability to bat through day 4. And then since then, in 5 sessions, to only lose 2 wickets, and then Jaddu and Washington to step up when Bant's injury, I know we'll come on to injuries a little bit later on, but to step up in that situation when one of your key batsmen is out, like you guys said, to show such resilience, I think it was a fantastic, fantastic performance. They deserve, so much credit. But it was a Herculean effort, really, for them to show that over the kind of a day and a half, 2 days of batting that they did. And in the end, they did it with ease. We know Ben Stokes, in the end, wanted to call it off. To show that much grit and determination was absolutely fantastic. So for me, it's one that will certainly live very long in the memory.
Yeah. And then, you mentioned regarding final hour. I wanted to talk to you both about this, right? As a batter, when you're nearing century and opposition captain say, okay, I've had enough, last hour left. What would you do, Ajay, at that point? As a player, as a batter?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, the opportunity for Sundar to get his first century. And I think Gambhir said it quite well, actually. Funnily enough, he's actually done the press conference after the match for this day. And he said, you know what, if you're batting on 90 and this is your opportunity to make your first century, why not? Why would we want to shake hands and declare early? Let the player, get the record and get the runs, So I think it was the right decision. I think obviously declaring early, or I think it just showed a bit of arrogance or a bit of annoyance from Stokes, saying that, look, okay, this is not going anywhere, let's just call it off, boys. But no, you know what, fair play to the Indian batsmen for standing their ground and wanting to achieve their hundreds, and then obviously calling the game after that. I think it was just a bit of a kind of spitting out the dummy moment for Stokes. I think he knew that it wasn't going anywhere, and he just wanted to kind of get it over with, and probably just maybe, hit the showers early, get a massage, because he was probably feeling it as well from the performance that he was been putting in over the last 5 days. And I have to make credit to Stokes as well. I think obviously I have to give him the man of the match kind of performance. I mean, taking a 5 in the first innings and then also scoring 140, I think it was 142, was it? I think he scored. So incredible, kind of all-rounded play there, and with the bat and the ball, and even though he was injured as well, so that just kind of shows that he had a lot of grit in him himself. Yeah. But what do you think I wanted to pose a question to you guys is, again, we saw with India, how they collapsed in Lords, for such a small total. And again, the pressure, would you say, was more on this game as it was compared to Lords? And what was the difference? Do you think that the fact is that we only conceded 4 wickets compared to being all out for less than 190? So, Rohit, what do you think about that, to be honest? Because I want to get your opinion on that. Yeah, what changed?
I don't know what's changed. I think the resilience they showed, I think that took me off, basically, because I never thought we will come back from 0-2, right? And I don't remember anywhere in my memory. I can't even think. And last time we were 0 for 2, and then we came back, either drew the game or we won the game. as Indian fans since 1980s, right? So I remember how quickly our batting collapsed when the pressure came in, right? But this team, I was talking to my brother after the game. I said, "Do you remember?" He said, "No, I don't remember at all. Last time we showed that much resilience. Maybe winning sometime it's like 70 for 5 or something, but straight away 2 wickets first over, and then we actually went on to bat for like 5 full sessions. It's amazing."
Yeah.
It's amazing. I have to congratulate them to show their resilience. I know everyone's saying, "Oh, pitch was flatter, pitch is that." But guys, if you take the pitch out of equation, you need mental strength to be from 0 to 2 coming in and captain scoring 100 and then 200s later on. Amazing. I have to say well done to the team. And I was thinking, England bowled for 2 full days nearly, right? And now the next game starting on Wednesday. And if we
3
win the
days.
toss, should we bat first or should we
We're
bowl
back.
first?
We got to put them in.
David, what do you think? What do you think if we win the coin toss?
No, I'd certainly agree. Going back to the point that you made, I think Ben Stokes probably showed his frustration. I think this was the second draw in the Bazball era. So since Brendan McCullum came in, this is only the second draw that they've had. Ironically, that was also at Old Trafford, but that was due to the rain. So I think he showed frustration. He also wanted to stop Sundar getting his first 100 and stop them getting hundreds on the board. So I think it was a bit of nous and a bit of clever play from Ben Stokes there. But for me, well within your rights. If I were India, I would honestly have gone one step further. I would have kept them out and made them ball the extra 10 overs. I know Brooke, he jokingly said, "Do you really want to get your 100 off of Harry Brook?" Yes, I do. I want to get 100 off
Yeah.
Harry Brook. If you're going to ball him, I'm going to smash him out the park like they did. So, to be honest, I would have kept him out there for another 10 overs. The game's 3 days away. He didn't want to risk any more of his ballers. So, you know what? If you want to serve up Harry Brook and Joe Root, you know what? We'll smash him out of park and we'll knock your confidence down a little bit more. So, for me, all within the rules of the game, India did the right thing to stay out. And coming back to the final point, I would definitely, be be batting first and putting them to ball first in the next test, because I think again they'll be weary legged. And if the big question, which we'll come on to in a little bit, if Bumrah plays, you want as many days in Bumrah's as in his legs as rest as possible. It's coming into the next test, so we'll definitely be looking to bat first.
Yeah, I want to add something here. We saw Jonathan Trout making a comment saying, because of the culture differences in India, we culture individual performances. In England, we say team performances, right? Team is more. I'm going to answer this, right, guys. You show this culture by behavior. You don't show this culture by saying we believe team is more. Team result is better than individual results, right? I agree. But you have to show it. Then, why do you have all the individual performances on the board? Someone made 100, put their name on the board. Someone took a fifer, put their name on the board. Right? Why? Cricket is full of individual accolades. Cricket is full of individual, those centuries, those fifers. That's why you name every ground you go. They have a honors board and you put the name on. Why do you do that?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I'll go one step further.
Yeah.
I'll go one step further. Everybody in that Old Trafford ground knew when Joe Root went past Jack Callis, when he went past Rahul Dravid, and when he went past Ricky Ponting. Everybody in that ground knew that Joe Root was moving up that list. Now, Joe Root's quite a shy Yorkshireman. He didn't want the attention on him. He was focused on getting his century, which he duly did. But cricket is a game of individual accolades as well. So I completely agree. I think, again, Trott does do a lot of talking. I think he was the guy who leaked where Virat Kohli lived as well. I think he probably needs to not say too much in his future interview. Jonathan Trott was very surprised he came out and said that.
Yeah. No, true. So, coming on to our bowling now. I know we said enough about that situation, what happened. I call it theatrics, Someone coming in, the captain, they know, they're not going to say yes to shake hands. But anyway, whatever happened, guys, after a positive result, I know we didn't win the game, but still it's a draw after battling out that last innings. India's bowling. We bowled 160 overs. And then, trust me, guys, I felt, oh my God, at the start of it was shocking. Ajay, what do you think India did to put Cambodia in? I know we wanted him to be in. He was in part of our team, but we did not expect that performance. What went wrong here?
Yeah, I think obviously I think it was a bit forced in a way with regards to with Cambodge. Obviously, I think if there wasn't any injuries, then we know exactly who our starting 11 would be. And credit is a debutant, and it was a bit of a surprise that he got the new ball ahead of like Siraj. And obviously, I don't think it really paid dividends. I think it was a bit of a mistake there from Gambhir or whoever the coaching staff or whoever's decision it was to give him the new ball. And it was quite interesting actually looking at his speed. And I think there was an interesting picture that ESPN Cricket Info put up about how his bowling average or the speed was that of Marnus Labuschagne. And I thought, that can't be right. Only bowling 79, 80 miles less, in that region. So again, I think it was something that we thought maybe he was going to do something, but in reality, really didn't do anything. I think he got hit for, I think, how many runs did he go for in that game?
Too many.
Yes, too many, I think. He went for, he bowled 18 overs and went for 89, but an economy of nearly 5. But I think there was other bowlers on there that you could obviously kind of pick out and say that, they didn't do really well. I was surprised with Bumrah kind of going for more than 100. I think that's the first time in his career that he's actually gone for more than 100 in a particular game. So again, is it fatigue? Is it discipline? The line and length? They were angling at the pads, and I think it was just easy runs for England's top order. And I think this was, again, I go on record saying that England's top order was rubbish in the previous Test matches, and I think I've been shown up, unfortunately, today, saying that that they actually performed absolutely fantastic, in that innings. So credit where credit's due, but I think obviously we just gave it to them too easily. And I think there's got to be definite revisions for the last test in order to keep that discipline and make England's batsmen pay. So there's got to be something that's got to change.
Definitely. I think it's really hard to come in straight away from India. I know he was in India. He went back to India and then came back again. Put him straight into the team and have him bowl the first over as well. I think there was too much pressure on the young person, young player. So Dheeraj, to confirm, he gave away 89 runs at nearly average of 4.9, right? So obviously there was a pressure on him, But again, on the speed as well, I think everyone was surprised to see his speed. I spoke to one of my nephew yesterday. He said his teammate, 15-year-old, his speed is 90 miles per hour. I was thinking, if the 15-year-old can bowl 90 miles per hour, why can't I bowl? There's something missing. I don't know what's missing. Dheeraj, what do you think is missing?
I think your nephew's friend needs to be playing with our good friend Surya Vanshi if he's bowling 90 mile an hour. But no, I think, as you rightly alluded to, I don't want to bash the guy. I backed him last week. And the reason I backed him was that 51 he got for India against the Lions included the likes of Chris Wokes in the bowling lineup for England Lions. Also had Josh Tongue, who have both played, in this series. So I understood the selection from a batting point of view because Gambhir likes his tail to bat very deep. However, from a bowling point of view and in the field in general, I mean, the ball was following him at one point, and I think Michael Atherton, I remember, was on commentary and he wasn't doing himself any justice. He just looked unfit. Whether that's, as you rightly say, he's come off of a flight, he's had a short turnaround time. For me, I think it's too much to ask for somebody to come off a plane. I would have, in hindsight, it's a fantastic thing, gone to Prashid Krishna. I think, Rohit, you actually alluded to that and said you'd like to see Krishna come back in. I think that would have been the right call because I think it was asking too much. And there's been numerous players in the past who have played for their country once, not taken the opportunity, and then never come back. And I do worry, I wouldn't play him in the next test. And I do worry now after this performance whether he'll get another opportunity. So I think the selection has probably not done him any favours here. And I think I said it in a previous podcast actually about Sai Sudarshan. You need to manage young talents very carefully because 1 or 2 games can make or break their career. Because if they don't perform well, that's it, their chance can go and people don't want them around again. So yeah, I'd be very surprised if he plays again. I think it was the wrong call by the management. And if Marnus Labuschagne's turning up and balling quicker than you, I think you need to kind of work on your speed a little bit.
Let's hope he comes back stronger. It's a great learning for him, this test match. And talking about injuries, this is why Anshul is here, because of the injuries to our bowlers. And then, unfortunately, Pant got injured. What a blow to the Indian team. He's been superstar every time he toured in England and obviously in Australia as well. I personally see him as the best wicketkeeper batsman I've ever seen playing in Sena countries. So, Ajay, what do you think? Will it impact the Indian team having no Pant now? He's a vice captain as well, so
Massively, massively, yeah. And like you just said, the records speak for themselves and how well he's performs with the bat, and just his general presence in the field as well. Well liked in the dressing room, has a massive impact. Obviously, like you said, being the vice captain. I think what this fifth test is going to show is India's middle order. Will they be able to kind of protect the tail, and will they be able to kind of provide that score, that ability to kind of put pressure on England? Bant is kind of seen as your danger man to this English bowling line. He can hit you for a six. He can pull out some outrageous shots. He's very unorthodox. So this is, somebody that we're going to greatly miss. And it's just a shame that obviously the injuries have kind of played quite a lot in this last Test match, especially with India with the bowling as well. And I just kind of feel a bit upset that the fact is that we've obviously no disrespect to Anshul Kamboj, but the amount of breadth of talent that India has as a nation to be producing top grade batsmen, top grade bowlers. I'm just really surprised with the committee or the selection committee in not looking for more experience. And again, why did we send Harshit Rana back? What was the reason for that? And was there any kind of possibility for players like Mohammad Shami or Bhuvaneshwar Kumar to have a say and to be selected? But these are kind of interesting points, whether or not there's politics behind the scenes. And I think that could really ruin our chances to be a top Test nation if there is these kind of back of the dressing room or back office meetings where there's player selection preferences and politics going around the scene. But obviously I don't want to speculate too much around that, and we're just going to kind of go off on what we're kind of reading from the major news outlets and what obviously Gambhir and the coaching staff are saying. But I mean, obviously given the fact that he's a debutant, again, we don't want to go too hard on him, but I just feel that this was just not the right test for him to have come into. And I think maybe we should have looked at a different option like Guldeep Yadav and just play with the people who have experience, who have the kind of ability to have an impact onto the game. And obviously I know Dheeraj was alluding to his batting record in the England A, and then obviously he got out for a duck, which is a bit of a slap in the face, and we kind of laughed at him in the group. But it was something that we kind of had that expectation of, but it just didn't work out for him. So again, it's going to be back to the drawing board for the fifth test to see who's available and who can actually play.
Yeah, and if you see that injuries, right? Bumrah was off as well, and Siraj may be tired. Bumrah also may be tired, right? Their speeds were low as well. Don't know what happened then. If Bumrah is not fit, and personally, I think Bumrah should now consider white ball cricket. I think because of injuries. Otherwise, if he was fit, he'll play all three formats. But because of his body, his injury, record, I think he should just focus on, because he's brilliant one day and T20 bowler and amazing test match bowler. So what do you think, Dheeraj? Should he retire from test matches, or should he just focus on maybe just playing in Sena countries where there's a 3-match series rather than 5-match series? What do you think?
I think that's the point. I think the reason why there's such a large number of injuries across both sides, we'll come on to England a little bit later on. They're decimated by injuries as well. They've got a number of concerns going into the fifth test. I think that is the beauty of Test cricket. There's been 20 days. What other sport can you think of where we've had 4 matches? There's been 20 full days of play, and we've got 5 more to go. It really is the most intense atmosphere, and that's why Test cricket is called Test cricket. Alluding to Bumrah, do I think he should retire? I don't, and the only reason why I say that is because India have lost a great deal of experience in the last few months with Ravi Ashwin, who I think it was the right call. I think Sundar's proving that, and I've said that before this podcast as well. I think Sundar was the heir to Ravi Ashwin's throne. We've lost Rohit Sharma as well. Jaswal's taken his position, and we've lost Virat Kohli. And not only them who have retired, also Rahane is no longer part of the test setup, and Pujara, as much as they'd like to be, they're no longer a part of that. So I don't think Bumrah should be moved on just yet, but I think he should literally be kept for shorter series. against the likes of South Africa, New Zealand, England, and Australia. So against, for example, the West Indies coming up in the next series, I wouldn't even be picking Bumrah for that. And in the Asia Cup, again, I'd be managing his minutes to make sure he's only playing against, the bigger sides as opposed to the lesser sides as well.
Yeah. I think we have to manage him properly now. We have to have
Yeah.
a strategy on how to manage his workload. Yeah, coming on to England, what a performance of Ben Stokes again. I mean, he was bowling, he was fielding. I think he's a great captain. I personally think he's a really, really good captain, right? He was injured as well this morning, I think. He had an issue on his right shoulder or right arm.
And hamstring,
It's amazing performance once again. And definitely man of the match. So Ajay, what do you think, about Ben Stokes?
Again, I think he just epitomizes, England cricket and kind of just the way that kind of a sports person and the captain should kind of be. You kind of look at like Andrew Flintoff in the Ashes in 2005. You kind of think like how that kind of spurred inspiration to the rest of the team, his attitude, his demeanor. And obviously, I think just Ben Stokes kind of has a little bit of that, or even quite a lot of that, to be fair. And he was the one that was kind of moving the team forward and guiding his players and really changed the match, especially in Lords. You kind of saw that with Lords about his captaincy and how he managed to earn the victory there. So he's a great cricketer, and I think he's got his haters, and I know Ashwin said that, apart from that heroics in Headingley, what else has he done with the bat? But you know what, he showed it today when he was scoring 141. So I'll correct myself, sorry, I said 142, but yeah, he scored 141 and obviously took that 5-wicket haul. And he's been, apart from, Jasprit, Bumrah and Siraj, he's been in the leading wicket takers in this series. So it just kind of shows to you either a question of how are England's bowling attack as a part of India's bowling attack, where we've got quite a lot of our players on that wicket-taking scoreboard at the top. And it just shows for him, being an all-rounder, how much of an impact he has, and again, how well he can kind of change games and make the favour go into England's way. So again, fantastic cricketer, and playing through injury as well. I mean, he was retired same as Pant, came back and added to his score. And I think that just takes a lot of guts, and that was fantastic for him. He's not thinking about the Ashes. He's thinking about now. He's thinking about winning this series. And I think that's the kind of demeanour that they kind of instilled in this new Bazball era with Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes, thinking that, we're not just going to play for the draw, or we're not going to play for what the situation says. If we're there to win it, we're going to go and win the game. And I think that's something that India could kind of learn as well. So credit to him. He did fantastic.
Yeah.
And Joe Root as well, and Joe Root as well. I did say obviously on the last podcast as well that
you also said
Joe
Ben
Root's
Stokes
favorite
going to get nothing.
So I would like to clarify that. I thought he was only going to make like 30 or 40, but no, he did well to make 141. But then Joe Root as well kind of showed us up as well, and he scored a fantastic century, 150. And guys, 2,500 away from the god himself, Sachin, and as we kindly pointed out, he's only 34, not 36. So again, maybe just a quick one for you guys. What do you think? Do you think he's going to beat Sachin in terms of the number of runs?
I thought you were asking the audience there. Just a very, very quick one on Ben Stokes, on his importance to England. He's got more wickets than Jasprit Bumrah in this series, and he scored more runs than Jaiswal. So he's doing more than what India's top order batsman is doing, India's opener, and he's got more wickets than India's premier number one world-class bowler, and that just says what kind of value he really brings to this England side. On Joe Root, I mean, he got 2,500 runs since 2023. So if he continues this form, he's not only going to do it, he's going to smash it. Now, as an Indian fan, I'm hoping down under he gets a couple of ducks and he goes through a bit of a lean period. But then the Yorkshireman in me does say, what an achievement. Because once Sachin did it, I never thought it would be broken. I will say if Root does it, I can never see it be broken. So, I mean, I know we discussed it at length in the last podcast, but you know what? He just doesn't show any sign of slowing down. So, wow, what a player.
Yeah, well, what a player, Root. So well done. Congratulations on now being the second. But I do agree, Jay and Dheeraj, I think he will break it. And I would love someone to break the record, because then the bar is set. Next bar, someone else will break it from Indian lineup. Maybe Jaiswal, maybe Gill. We never know, right? Records are there to be broken. That's my belief. And I think, let's go for it. Let's see who breaks Sachin's record, and let's see another Indian can come up again and break that record again, and then go at the top. But let's see, guys. But yeah, well done, Root. Amazing performance once again, and that's what they say. Root. When they say that, it reminds me of Ronaldo's right.
Virat is quietly crying in the corner.
For all our viewers, I get docked pay every time I mention his name. So yeah, that's why I'm not mentioning the
I thought
on this.
I haven't mentioned him in a while, so I thought I'll mention him today.
No, brilliant, guys. Yeah. So next test match, 5th test match, starting in 3 days. So if you have to preview these guys, what do you think the team will be for India's perspective? Dheeraj, what do you think?
I have a very interesting lineup, which I'm hoping you guys are going to agree with. So I would actually make a number of changes. I'll talk you through my team instead of going through the changes. So I would have Jaswal and KL Rahul, of course, at the top of the order, and then Sai Sudarshan at 3. Although he got a duck in the second innings, we need to stick with his talent. 4, of course, Gill, and off the back of another fantastic 100, by the way, and now the top scoring Asian player who beat Virat Kohli's record. So a bit of a round of applause there, please, Rohit, if you will, for our captain Shubman Gill. But so what I would actually do in the next test is India have kind of given themselves a bit of a headache here, because for me, Kuldeep Yadav has to play. He has to play. So now I would actually play Washington Sundar at 5. He bats very high up for Tamil Nadu, and I would start bedding him in up the order. So I'd go Washington Sundar at 5. I'd go Jadeja at 6, again off the back of another 100. He seems to love batting at number 6. Number 7, I would go Juve Jarrell. Now, I completely agree with Ajay. Rishabh Pant will be a massive miss. However, Juve Jarrell had an average of 40 in Test cricket. He's not played much, but he has an average of 40. He's done well. So, let's give him his opportunity. I think he's earned it keeping wicket in the last 2 Test matches. I think he deserves to go with the bat. And then in terms of the bowling, I would bring Arshdeep and Akashdeep in. I really am hoping both of them are fit. I think they're crucial to us winning and playing in the next test. So I would leave Thakur and Kamboj out. And then at 10, the evergreen road runner, I would go Mohammad Siraj at 10. And then at 11, I'd go Kuldeep Yadav. I feel he has to play. I feel he needs to get a game, and at the Oval can really help us, day 4 and 5 when it does start to turn there. I feel it can be really helpful. So on paper, it does look like we've gone with 3 spinners, but given the form that Sundar and Jadeja are in, this calls for playing either of them as a pure batsman, and they're also, of course, going to ball and help us in that department as well. So I'd love to get your guys' opinion and what you guys think.
Yep, no, honestly, I think I agree with Dheeraj. I think in terms of the batting lineup, there's not really much that you need to change. I think the question is obviously, again, do you toss it up between Karun and Sai Sudarshan at number 3? I think, again, having more left-handed batsmen, I think just kind of seems to work a little bit for India. I think if you looked at, I think there was a stat while watching the game against how England's bowlers are bowling towards the left-hand batsmen and how many wickets are taken. And I think Archer and Chris Woakes have kind of been more effective, but people like Kars have not been very effective against left-handed batsmen. So it could be something that we could utilise and exploit. So maybe Sai Sudarshan just gets the nod just over that. And plus he scored an excellent 60 in the first innings as well. Well, as it 60, 61, 62 or something. So that was, again, a very good confidence booster for Sai Sudarshan. But again, very disappointing to obviously get the duck in the second innings. For the bowling is going to be the headache, isn't it? It's going to be ifs and buts. It's going to be a really last minute kind of thing. Is it going to be Akashdeep? Is it going to be Arshdeep? Does Bumrah can play? Siraj is, like you said, a roadrunner. He's a machine, and I feel bad for him that the fact he's having to play all these test matches. But I think he's just an integral part of the team. But I hope obviously he regains a bit of form and fitness coming into this next test. And Kuldeep Yadav, I've always advocated, it's great. Just because England play with certain all-rounders and certain bowlers doesn't mean that we need to match them. We should just play to our strengths with having a bowler who's renowned for taking wickets and and is a fantastic spin bowler, leg spin as well. So fantastic in Kuldeep Yadav, and I think hopefully he does get the nod. And again, it just all really depends on who's available and who's fit. But I think I agree with Dheeraj. I think that starting 11 probably would be my preferred 11 as well. Rohit, would there be any changes that you would make, or any suggestions or wild cards you throw into this mix?
Yeah, so I was thinking about the wild card, Ajay. I think who should we put in? Looking at the injuries and everything. So I was still going with Jaswal Rahul and Sudarshan and Gill, top 4. Then, like you said, Washi, number 5. I think Dheeraj, you said Washi, right? At number 5. Yeah, he can bat
Yeah,
at number 5. And Jurel, Jadeja, and Kuldeep. And I'm thinking, if we have to say to Jasprit, just see, May Punjabi, come on, yaar. This is your last game in England. Give it your best. Even though if half fit Bumrah is there, opposition is still kind of wary of this, right? They still play him. Okay, we want to play him safe because you don't know what Bumrah can produce, right? So I'll still go for Bumrah. Say, come on, Jassi, and be the Punjabi guy. We all know, right?
Ik wari ho.
Ik wari ho. Jassi, ik wari ho.
Jasprit, Jassi now Basprit. Ik wari ho.
Yeah, ik wari ho. Yeah. And Akashdeep and Arshdeep. I'm gonna give Siraj a little bit of breather. He's been poor guy. He's been bowling with all his heart and long spells, and I'm gonna give him a little bit of rest. And I know it's tough for Arshdeep to come in at such a crucial juncture. But I'm thinking Akashdeep and Arshdeep, and have a little bit of left hand, Kuldeep as well, left-hander, and then Arshdeep as well.
He needs a left armour.
Yeah. And Arshdeep as well, left armour, so may give us a little bit of a difference, differentiation,
Variation,
but and variation as well. So this is my team, and Arshdeep is my wild card, guys. And let's see what do you guys think England team gonna be, because they were talking about Archer. Not gonna play him Archer like back-to-back test matches, right? Dheeraj, I want to start with you. What do you think English team gonna be like?
I'm going to mention him so he knows we're missing him again. So Amit said in the last podcast that India's team selection was all over. I'm actually going to go on record here and say right now, on Sunday evening, England's team lineup is a bit all over. As you rightly pointed out, Archer, 3 on the back after 4 years out. I'll be very surprised with an Ashes round the corner. I think he misses out. You've also got Cars and Wokes, who have played all 4 games. They need a breather. Ben Stokes gave his 110% this morning because he thought, let's get the win here, let's make it 3-1, then I'll have a nice little break down at the Oval. That's not going to happen now. So the changes that I think will happen, Gus Atkinson, I think will definitely come in. And I also think Josh Tung will come back in as well. I can see those being the 2 changes. I think Gus Atkinson, if I'm not mistaken, his home ground is actually the Oval. So I can see him coming in there, playing on his home ground. And I think they'll bring Josh Tung back in. And I'll probably see Archer and then probably Wokes. So they may be going to ask Cars to go again, which, to be honest, is a risk. So they've got question marks of their own because, sitting here 3-4 days out, there might be a couple of injuries there as well. So it will be very interesting to see what lineup they go in. But I think India go in better form with the momentum now. And I think England go in with a few question marks because they played their hand early. And I think India go with probably the better side of it, where they've got people potentially coming back in Arshdeep. He looked fine doing high fives at the end. So hopefully his hand is all right.
Ajay, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was going to kind of echo, exactly what they said. I think with Gus Atkinson, I think I said it as well on the previous podcast about that he would potentially get a run in, and obviously having Archer into having the 3rd test on the trot potentially if he was to play on the 5th test. I think that might not be wise for the England selectors. Obviously, like you said, with the Ashes coming round. So yeah, I think obviously with Dawson, he's kind of filled in quite well with Shoaib Bashir, so he'll obviously stay in. And potentially Tung coming back in as well. Maybe I think even with the batting, I don't know whether or not they want to have a change with Crawley and Duckett as well. Maybe try somebody different. I mean, again, because from England's point of view, they're not going to lose the series now. So the worst that obviously can be is a draw. But I probably imagine that they're not going to change the batting lineup. I think they'll probably just keep everything the same. But if they were to throw in anyone else differently, then again, that could be something that would have changed. But I think for England's point of view, the top order's fine. I think it's just, again, like they said, is with the bowling, and they're trying to manage Wokes. And is Mark Wood going to come in?
No, he's not. He's not back.
He's not back, so that's a let off for India. So I think it's a case of obviously Josh Tung and Gus Atkinson that could be coming in for Archer and for Wokes.
Yeah, I think similar as well. I don't think they will change the batting lineup. And by seeing the opening stand in the first innings here, amazing. I mean, Deccan
You
and
can't drop them.
Yeah.
you can't drop them, guys. Both of them amazing.
Yeah.
How they started the innings, amazing. I wish India could start like this. But yeah, well done to them as well. And I think so batting lineup, I don't think they will have many changes. I don't see anyone, but obviously bowling as well. With injuries, maybe Sam Crook will come in. He was in the squad. And then Gus Atkinson, like you guys said, yeah, and that's it, I think. And Dawson will play. I think he's the only spinner at the moment for them, and then he bats well. So yeah, I think and Cars, I think they will keep Cars because they wanna. Another thing I'm thinking is because Ashes as well, there'll be 5 games, right? So they want to make players get ready for 5 games, right? So they will say, okay, you have to play 5 games as an all-rounder. And Cars is like, what I've seen so far, he's pretty brilliant batter as well. So, I think he will keep his place, yeah. So, yeah, maybe just a couple of changes. Archer and Crook and one more bowler, Walks probably will go out and Tung will come back. Yeah. That's my prediction. But let's see. So, guys, if you're still watching, please give us your thoughts on the team selection. Who should be in the team of India and England? Please drop us in the comments. We are eagerly waiting for your comments as well. So please put it in the comments. What do you think the team will look like for the 5th test? So time for prediction, guys. Dheeraj, what is your prediction for the 5th test?
I'm not going to make any bold predictions. I'm not going to say like Ajay did last time, there's going to be no runs, and then there's going to be 1,452 runs scored. So I'm not going to make any bold predictions. But I
thought the weather report.
It was Amidst, your weatherman. That's why he's not here. We sacked him.
The weatherman, he's not here. We sacked him.
He got the weather on. No, I honestly think the momentum is with Team India. I think England really, and I think that's why the frustration we saw from Ben Stokes today, they really wanted to wrap this up today. The new Archer wouldn't be there. Stokes didn't want to have to go again. So I genuinely do think with India hopefully having players coming back, Kuldeep coming in, our all-rounders in form, Shubman Gill, our captain in form, KL Rahul with a fantastic 90 as well at the top of the order, which was as important as the other innings. I genuinely think India have the momentum. I don't see any reason why we can't go 2-2. And a question for you, Rohit, because it's a new name, it's now called the Anderson Tendulkar Trophy. India did actually win it last time these two teams played in India. India won the last series. Do we still retain it, even though it's technically a new form of it now? So India need to win. If India win, we win the trophy. If England win, they win the trophy. I mean, it's all to play for, and I think the momentum's with us. So no reason why we can't go down to the Oval and win.
Yeah, cool. Ajay?
Again, we'd have to probably pull up the stats, our record at the Oval. And I think obviously I went on the last last podcast saying England were going to win. And I feel like obviously with the injuries that we had, we were going to get absolutely slaughtered. But India, again, just showed resilience, showed that grit and determination. And like they said, I think we've actually got more momentum going into the 5th test. I just hope that we just win a coin toss. It's not too much to ask. It's a 50-50, unless it's a double-headed coin that they got from the Dark Knight set. Like, I don't know. Like, I just hope that they can just kind of win that coin toss. Gill can actually decide on what he would like to do, and we actually have a little bit of an advantage. Because if you actually think about it, if you actually deep it, for 20 days of cricket, India have not had their preferential choice of batting or bowling style. I'm sure Gill would have done differently to what Ben Stokes might have done, but England have not actually been pressured in a situation or an innings which they've not had their own control of, if you understand what I'm saying. That, they've had the control of the coin toss. So I just hope that if we actually do win the coin toss, that it actually puts India in a better position, in a more commanding position, because we've been playing under pressure this whole test series. So I feel like, if India can win the coin toss, and I think if our players are fit, I think India have got a very strong chance. And I probably might even say they might wrap it up in 4 days. Let's see.
Like, remember the previous management, with Kohli and Shastri, they said, guys, let's take the toss and the pitch out of the equation. And I think they asked Gill today, Shubman today, after the match, saying, what do you think of the toss? He said, I don't care if we win the toss or lose the toss, as long as we win the series or we draw the series or win the game. So that's what we have to think, guys. Let's take everything out, whatever we're given. I now have full confidence with the team. I think they show the resilience. They have it in them. I think they showed it last game as well. Unfortunately, we lost by only 22 runs. But I know we're gonna say, yeah, it's still a loss, but yeah. But I think we did show some fight, and we did show this fight this time as well. So let's take this momentum in the last test match and let's win it. But it's been an amazing series so far. Every game went to the last session of the 5th day. Let's hope we can win it this time and draw the series. That'll be amazing, for a young team, a young captain, first captain. And, I just want to end here, Ajay and Dheeraj. They asked Washi today, what do you think? Prediction. I said, I'm not going to give any headlines to anyone.
On this podcast.
So, you've heard it first. Rohit, day 3, lunchtime, India won.
So we have full house for India win. I think Amit will probably say the same as well. India will win. So let's hope, guys, India will win this game and draw the series. It's been amazing series so far, So thank you, guys. Thanks for coming on, and amazing conversation as usual. We missed Amit, but guys, show must go on. So thank you very much, everyone who are listening to this podcast. Please drop us your comments, your thoughts, or any guests you would like to see. We will invite them definitely on this podcast. This is 2 innings of 2 halves, 2 innings. We'll be back next week with India winning the game and drawing the series. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye for now.